Oh, came. Good morning, Karen Carpenter, Anu, Sandy, Jaya. Welcome. All right. Have a seat up on your lift. Cross your legs in the center of your shins, or whatever that means to you. I mean, I can do the center of my shins these days, but I have to be honest. When I started yoga, the center of my shins were here. So yeah, we do the best we can. You can seek it even if you're not there. Begin to let all the talking from beforehand, all the swirling thoughts in the mind, allow them to dissolve away. Give yourself permission to drop your awareness into the body, into the here and now. It doesn't mean that nothing is happening outside of the body and in other places. There's obviously chaos that most of us know about, have heard about, and we can hold space for healing. But that needs to come from a place of presence, not from a place of panic, not from a place of right or wrongness, but from a place of presence. A place of empathy and understanding for many people who are in pain, whether we agree with it or not. And that comes from presence. And presence starts with us, with being within, with experiencing our own body. It's the easiest way to access the present moment. And that's what we do here in our practice. And from this place of presence, we can then go about the world acting in a way that helps. Balance evenly on your sits bones. Just resting your hands on your thighs gently and allow your elbows just to dangle. Lengthen the inner thighs from the inner knees to the lower abdomen, from the lower abdomen to the inner knees. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Lift up through the side ribs, releasing the shoulders. Lengthening then the groins of the arms from the inner armpits to the inner elbows. Allowing the palms to then come together at the chest. Touch the palms evenly. You don't have to press hard. Sometimes we say it's if they're touching and not touching at the same time. But touch evenly left to right, right to left. Begin to observe the breath as it breathes you. As you allow your facial features to completely release and let go, close your eyelids from top to bottom and rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. Let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together, exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. 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 Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, straighten your legs. From the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. Straighten your legs. Feet together, heels together, toes straight up at the ceiling. Little toes move back towards you. If you're on a lift, fingertips on the floor. If you're flat on the floor, that's fine. Then you put your flat hands on the floor. Take your back bottom ribs inward and upward to lift the chest. That doesn't mean push the front ribs forward. So the front ribs still will draw back, but take the back bottom ribs in and up to lift the chest. Now, of course, we still have to pay attention to the legs. It really starts with the legs, but we don't want to start off slouching. So yes, the thigh bones press down, lengthen the inner thighs, the inner thigh through the inner knee, out through the heels, through the balls of the big toes, from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. Begin to get that feeling that it's like you're extending an elastic in both directions, not just pulling one way. The flesh of the inner thighs descends down, drop from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And then again, so the front ribs go back. There is abdominal work here. So the abdomen draws towards the spine, and then take the back bottom ribs in and up to lift the chest. Spread your legs. Kneecaps up, toes up. Balance evenly on the sits bones. Could spend the whole class just doing that. Thighs down. Be careful, knee people. Thighs down. And lengthen from the inner thighs through the inner knee, through the inner heel, extend through the ball of the big toe. But that opposite action from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. That also was a big one for me. We were talking before class about that. That understanding, once I understood the drawing back, that also changed how I experienced all of these poses that I had difficulty with for many years. But it took me a while to get that too. I know you're all wondering what we're talking about. Continuing a discussion from before class. The flesh of the inner thighs descends, draw from your outer knees to your outer hips, compact your hips together. And then while you still keep the front bottom ribs drawing back, take the back bottom ribs, move them in and up, as if they are lifting the chest, as if you're lifting the chest from the back bottom ribs. That you're not pulling the chest up, but you're using the back bottom ribs to push the chest towards the ceiling. Shoulders down. I start almost every day, or every day I am able to, with these poses. Take hold of the inside of your knees. Lift up. Let your feet come together. You can take your hands by your hips. If you're on the floor, sure, you can take your hands underneath your feet, or you can also use a strap if you want. We've done that one before. Otherwise, just hand. And if you can't reach the floor, just yeah, there you go. That's good. But if you can't, then you just take blocks to either side is also fine. If you are on the floor and you're holding your hands, let me get you another block. We got plenty. You're welcome. If you are on the floor with your hands under your feet, you want to make sure there's a tendency to pull up with the hands. I don't want you to do that. I want you to push your feet into your hands into the floor. And again, we work the legs and the torso. So lengthening the groins, lower abdomen to inner knee to lower abdomen, lengthening. Descending the flesh of the inner thighs, drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And then while the front bottom ribs draw back, take the back bottom ribs, move them in and up, as if the back bottom ribs are seeking to push the chest closer to the ceiling, but without hardening the diaphragm and pushing those front ribs forward. If you move everything forward and put all those blocks on the mat, you won't slide. You're sliding ever so slightly. Just even the block you're sitting on, just take it all, put it on the mat. And then soften your shoulders. Yeah, shoulders down. Even if you have to bend your elbows, bend your elbows, soften the shoulders. Take your hands on the outside of your knees, push your legs together, hold behind one knee, draw the flesh towards the buttocks, drag the heel, straighten the leg. Other leg, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag the heel, straighten the leg, fingertips by your hips. Thighs down, lengthen the inner thighs, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Take the back bottom ribs in and up. And release. Come onto your hands and knees. If you want to, we're setting up for downward facing dog. So if you want to use your blocks or a chair, please get that. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. So the forearm rotates in to do that. At the same time, rotate the upper arms out. Push into the floor, lengthen through the arms. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Again, reestablish your arms. So the forearm rotates in as the upper arm rotates out. Push into the floor. Inhale. On your exhalation, your thighs go back. Your chest goes towards your thighs, but your sit bones go towards the ceiling. Really press your thighs back. Feet further apart, George. Feet further apart. Feet wider. There we go. Press your thighs back. Push into the hands to move more weight onto your feet. Pull back with your thighs to bring more weight onto the feet. And then extend from the center of the calves through the tendon to the heel towards the floor. Outer heels down, outer hips up. And on your exhalation, take your armpits towards your thighs. Then look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows. Take your upper arms in line with your ears. Take your hips over your heels. Toes forward, toes forward. And again, don't just jam the shin bone back to straighten the leg. Press the thigh bone back. Bring your awareness higher in the leg to the tops of the thighs. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lift from your inner ankles to your inner groins. And as you move your hips towards the ceiling, let your torso fall over your thighs. Soft face, let the skull release, let the skull become heavy, the back of the neck becomes long. And then we'll go back to downward facing dog, hands on the floor, walk your feet back. Then we'll bend your knees just a little bit and lift your sit bones high in the air. Keep your sit bones lifted. Push into the floor with your hands. Extend all the way from the tip of your first finger through those sit bones. Now, take your chest towards your thighs, even armpits towards your thighs. Now, keep your chest towards your thighs, keep your sit bones high, and begin to straighten your legs. Press your thighs back and lengthen from the calf, center of the calf, through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. Breathe. Or better instruction, don't stop yourself from breathing because you breathe automatically. Look up, walk your feet forward. Hold your elbows the opposite way. So however your forearms will cross. Hold your elbows the opposite way. If you forget, do it the way that feels normal. And then the other way, the way that feels weird, is the way to do it. And again, be careful for jamming your knees back. Make sure your toes are forward. Bring your awareness higher up in the legs. Press the tops of the thighs back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. So your kneecaps are firm. It's not the floppy kneecap, it's a firm kneecap. Lifting from the inner ankles all the way up through the legs, from the inner knees all the way up through the legs. The flesh of the inner thighs moves from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. And there's also an opening up in the back of the leg. So we often say turn the thighs in, right? That's to bring your kneecaps forward. But there's also the back of the leg. Can you open the backs of the legs from the inside out? Which creates a spreading action, or may create a spreading action along the lower back. And then let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Take your torso parallel to the floor, hands slightly above your hips. Keep the thighs pressing back. Push the arms back, chest forward. Inhale and come up. And then come up into Tadasana. So feet together or hip distance apart. Your choice today. But if you're hip distance apart, you have to be a little bit more careful that your toes are indeed straight. And if your feet are together, you have to make sure that they are indeed together. That the balls of the toes are touching, maybe the toes themselves, that the inner heels are touching. Press your thighs back. The flesh of the inner thighs also moves back. There's a lifting of the outer knees to the outer hips. a lengthening from the inner ankles all the way up through the legs, from the inner knees all the way up through the legs, even connecting to the lower abdomen. Front bottom ribs move back, but can you take those back bottom ribs in and up, as if the back bottom ribs are trying to lift the chest up? Again, doing that action without forcing the front bottom ribs forward. So they need to move closer to each other. So the front bottom ribs and the back bottom ribs begin to move closer to each other. Shoulders down, extending through the arms. Soft face, soft jaw. The awareness in the body. Arms out to the side, drop the shoulders, rotate the arms up, drop the shoulders. Did you notice as you rotated your arms up how the front ribs came forward? Just because you didn't notice it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Take the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs in and up to lift the chest. And from your armpits, push your arms up. You can even balance on the feet, lifting up through the legs. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. And then lengthening through the side ribs. And from the side body, pushing your arms up. Straight elbows as best you can today. Shoulders down as the arms go up. Hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Interlacing your fingers together. Right first finger on top. Turn the palms out. Watch those ribs. The ribs immediately come forward. So take the front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. And then inhale, come up. Watch those front ribs. They keep coming forward. The higher you take your arms, the more your ribs want to come forward every step of the way. So every inch you move your arms, keep drawing the ribs back in. Wrists up, shoulders down. Hug your upper arms into your ears. As you press through your feet from your side ribs, extend up, push your wrists up. But again, it's front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in. Or in and up. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Interlacing your fingers together with your left first finger on top. Turn your palms out. Push the webbing of your fingers together. Again, watch those ribs. Take the arms up slowly. Take them up a little bit. Notice the ribs coming forward. Draw them back in. And then continuing up. Pausing. Ribs back in. Continuing up. Ribs back in. Continuing up. Ribs back in. Front ribs back. Back ribs forward. So adjusting every step of the way. Every step of the way. Until you get to the top. And then you adjust again at the top. Front ribs back. Back ribs in and up. Again, your upper arms into your ears. From your side ribs, push up, extend those arms up, wrists up, shoulders down. And release your arms out to the sides, come down. All right, take your chair. Put it to your left side. I'm sorry, right side. Sorry. With the seat facing you. We're doing Vrikshasana again. We did it the other way with the back side of the chair next to you, using it for balance. We're doing Vrikshasana again. We're going to use the chair a different way. So from Tadasana, you're going to lift your right leg, turn it out, and just take your foot to the chair. Now establish the standing leg. So the thigh back, don't just push the shin bone back, right? Those of you that tend to do that, you can still do shin bone forward, thigh back here. Lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. Draw this hip in. Draw the left hip in. Lengthening the inner groin. And there's still that action, which I know everyone wasn't here on Tuesday, but that action of the outer left hip pushing into the inner left foot. Now the bent leg, it, it's hard to come on camera, but you guys can see here, my knee is forward of my hip. It's not fully squared. If I go to square it, then my torso is off. I'm all of a sudden towards the side, or I can twist and kind of pretend, right? So keep your hips squared, and then this is just going to wind up where it is. Now, how do we open up? Yeah, we want to open up the hip. Lengthen the inner groin from the inner thigh through the inner knee, and from the upper inner thigh back towards the abdomen. The flesh of the inner thigh descends. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. These hips compact together again here. There's a tendency, it was even happening to me. I looked down, I saw my foot had turned out. So there's a tendency for that standing leg, even though we're not paying attention to it over time, that foot begins to turn out. So you want those toes forward, and as if it's in Tadasana still. And then from here, you can do the arm work. Hands together at your chest, hands up, right? This is Vrikshasana. Are you still lengthening? Just because you raise your hands, are you still paying attention to what you did in the legs? Are you still lengthening the groins, or did you forget that when you raised your hands? Because the hands are less important. Are you still drawing both outer knees to outer hips? Compacting the hips together. That's what's important here. And then palms at your chest. And palms down, release your leg back to Tadasana. Don't worry, we'll do it without the chair for those that want. But you can always use the chair to the other side. That's the beauty of these poses. There are always ways to do them. Turn your left leg out. Now it is front heel, you can do the front heel in line with the arch, which is close. Actually, ultimately the foot's going to go on the thigh, right? So you don't want the foot way up. You do want it in line with your thigh, or heel to arch is fine. But as soon as that leg comes up, even without the heel, so we often think it's the pressure of that foot against the thigh. As soon as I do that, this opposite hip wants to come out. So I have to lift the outer knee to the outer hip and draw the hip in. Lengthen the groins, the flesh of the thigh moving back. And from that outer hip, for that stability, press into the inner foot. But it's not just pressing into the inner foot, it's from the outer hip, drawing it in, and from the outer hip, pressing into the inner foot. Now that bent leg, lengthening the inner thigh. Don't just move the knee back to move the hip. We're looking for an opening instead, right? So really lengthen. Upper inner thigh to the inner knee, upper inner thigh to the lower abdomen, or that whole area between the knee and the abdomen extending in both directions. The flesh of the inner thigh descending, draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. The hips do compact. Now it's still front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in, but not if that causes you to lose the legs. Now, as we go to the arms, which we will, can you keep more awareness on the legs than the arms? Can you keep your awareness on your legs even though you move the arms? So touching your palms, but are you still extending the groins? Are you still compacting the hips, outer knees to outer hips, both legs? And then keeping the awareness on the legs. Don't lose it as you extend the arms. So you have to expand the awareness. Keeping more awareness in the legs than the arms. It's easy to pay attention to the arms now. It's so exciting. They're raised. They're the branches of the tree. But can you keep more awareness on the legs? Front ribs back, back ribs in. Palms at your chest. And first time. Right leg up. So depending on your balancing and where you are, what is accessible today, this might be your Vrikshasana. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. It is. And for those that want, we're going to establish this, and then we'll take the foot to the thigh. So standing leg first, thigh back, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. From the outer hip, push into the inner foot. So you have that stability there. Bent leg, lengthen the groin. Send the groin, draw the outer knee to the outer hip. And establish the torso here too. So front ribs back ribs in and up. And then go back, maintain that, go back to the legs. Are you lengthening the groins? Are you drawing the outer knees to the outer hips? Now, if you have your balance, you lift your right leg, you take hold of your ankle, and you place it on your thigh. And if you don't have your balance, you go right back. And yes, you can go to a wall or have another chair on the other side. We have two chairs, right? The other day we had the chair on the other side. You held on to that chair for balance. That's fine. Yeah, maybe there you look. Hey, yeah. Hey, that's how it starts, a half a second at a time. That is to celebrate, George. That is to celebrate. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Now that standing leg, outer knee to outer hip. And from that outer hip, pressing into the inner foot. Lengthen the groin of that bent leg. Descend the flesh of the inner thigh. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips, both legs. Yeah, see, I lose my balance too. And then if you have your balance, you can take your palms together. You have your balance. You can extend your arms up. But keep the awareness in the legs. Are you still lengthening the groins even though you just brought your arms up? Wherever your foot is, on your thigh, on the chair. This is about the legs. And palms together. And release. Other side. Left leg up. Get that standing leg, thigh back. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip. From the outer hip, press into the inner foot. Bent leg, lengthen the inner groin. Descend the flesh of the inner thigh. Draw the outer knee to the outer hip. Now maintain that. Do take the front ribs back ribs in. And I didn't mention it today, but as you take your leg up, focusing on that point, that drishti, that gazing point will help with the balance. And it's better straight ahead or slightly down, in my experience. So maintain this awareness of the legs, lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips, and then you just lift the leg up. Maybe just go up and down like that. That's okay. Lengthen the groins, take hold of the ankle, and place that foot wherever it goes, as high as is accessible today without hurting your knee. Thank you. But then as soon as that leg goes up, the thigh does go back. So, or over to the side, the hip drops out. So draw the outer knee to the outer hip. And from the outer hip, press into your inner foot. And then lengthen your groins. It's really both groins, but especially that bent leg. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips. That's it, George. Yeah. We do it, we fall, we celebrate, we do it again. That's great. Yeah, that's how it's done, half a second at a time. Compact those hips. And if you have your balance, palms together and palms up. That's it, Sean. And palms together and release. Chair to the other side. Right leg up. We're just going to focus on the legs now. No arms, no balancing. But this opening that you get here, so press that thigh back. The legs are doing two different things, so we have to use the brain differently. Press the standing thigh back, lift the outer knee to the outer hip, and lengthen that inner groin. And then lengthen the bent leg groin, really from the lower abdomen to the inner knee. Drawing the outer knee to the outer hip. The flesh of the inner thigh does go down. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. And can you be here in that experience of your legs without wanting anything more? Right? Some of you that have more control are going to go, oh, but I want to do the whole thing. Can you be here? Can you go deeper into this part of the pose without wanting more? And as you go deeper into the pose, notice how it affects your breath. For some, you'll notice that your breath ends up slowing down. I'm not asking you to slow down your breath. I'm not asking you to do anything with it. I'm just asking you to observe the effects. Maybe you don't observe that. That's okay. And release. Other side. Left leg up. Standing leg, thigh back, not just the shin bone and the knee, the thigh. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip. From the outer hip, press into the inner foot. Bent leg. Lengthen that groin from the lower abdomen to the inner knee. That's it, George. Good. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. The hips compacting. You can't even coax that inner leg. Don't push. This is not a push, but I'm gently coaxing the lengthening, even both ways, coaxing the lengthening of the inner thighs. Very gentle. I'm not pushing my knee. I'm not pushing it back. We've all been to classes where that's happened. Maybe not all of us. That's good. Don't push your knee back. Do descend the flesh to the inner thigh. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. And don't want more. Instead, observe this experience. Don't worry about the arms. Don't worry about the balancing. Become a witness for the breath. And release. Tadasana. You can put the chair to the side for now. Does your Tadasana feel different? Toes forward. Left foot. There you go. Because it goes right into the back. No, I don't care about the foot, but it's what it does to everything else. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips. Lengthen those inner groins. The flesh of the inner thighs going back. Front ribs back, back ribs in. And when you take the back ribs in, they're going up as if the back ribs are lifting the chest. Without leaning back, though. Don't lean back to do that. Mudita Trikonasana, triangle pose, fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch, and those right toes point straight forward. The back thigh has to go back, so you can press the back heel. There's also a lifting of the outer knee to the outer hip, so it goes in both directions, pressing down to the back heel and lifting up. The front thigh turns from the inside out. Maybe there's more opening there that we did all that work with Vrikshasana. And on that front leg, lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. Now keep pressing into the back heel. Pull with the back arm. Inhale, exhale, come down. Don't worry about how far down you go. Remember, this one's fine. That's it. And you can always take that hand on your hip. There you go. Because you just want to open that chest. Lean back. Now, that's the one. Yes. So press into the back heel. Turn that front thigh. Lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. Good, George. The head is back. The head is back. Extend those arms away from each other. Use that top arm to pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Other side, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back, press into the heel. Turn the front thigh, but as you press into the back heel, there's still the lifting up action, right? Turn the front thigh out. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Now press into the back heel, reach with your back arm, exhale, come down. That was a good adjustment you just did. That's it. You feel that? You feel the opening that comes across here? So pressing the back heel, the top thigh moves back so you can press the back heel. The front thigh turns out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Extend those arms away from each other. And pulling with that top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. One more time, fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step wide. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh goes back, press the heel, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Press into the back heel, reach with your back arm, inhale, exhale, come down. Now everyone take the top hand on your hip. So again, the legs, the back thigh goes back, press the back heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. The front thigh turns out, press the ball of the big toe, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Now we've also been doing some work with the torso today. Take your front bottom ribs back and take your back bottom ribs in, and it's up towards your chest. This is not up towards the ceiling. So it's kind of in and sideways, but towards the chest. So the back bottom ribs go in as if they're trying to move the chest. But the front bottom ribs have to go back at the same time. Head back. And then extend the left arm up, finish the pose. You're welcome to look forward or up. And then reach with your top arm, resist with your bottom arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Hands on your hips, take a breath. Extend the arms. Right foot in, left leg out. So the back thigh goes back. Press into the back heel and lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Front thigh turns out. Press the ball of the big toe, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Reach with that back arm. Exhale, come down. Top hand on your hip. Again, back thigh back. Press into the heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Turn the front thigh out. Press the ball of the big toe, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Now the torso, take the front bottom ribs back. Don't thrust those forward and harden the diaphragm. At the same time, take the back bottom ribs in and then towards your chest. So again, the front bottom ribs and the back bottom ribs are seeking to get closer to each other. And then finish the pose, extend your arm up, look forward, or you can look up at your arm. Observing your pose. Pull with your top arm, resist with your bottom, come up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Eyes back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Front ribs back, back ribs in. And separate your feet hip distance apart. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows. Inhale up. Exhale, come down. Rest the skull. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. You can take your hands on your hips or extend the arms back, thighs back, chest forward. Inhale, come up. Tadasana. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose 2. So from feet together, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step your feet. Start with your hands on your hips. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Now the work of the legs is the same. The back thigh goes back, press into the heel. The front thigh turns out, lift both outer knees to outer hips. Inhale, on your exhalation, bend the leg. So in a way, this is kind of like what we were doing for Vrikshasana. It's just the back leg is at an angle now. Knee over the ankle. But lengthen that groin, especially that front leg. Both groins lengthen, but really lengthen the groin of that front leg and draw the outer knee to the outer hip, just like we did in Vrikshasana, right? Now take the front bottom ribs back and the back bottom ribs in and up. Then extend the arms. Sean, try and take your whole torso, not the legs. Don't move the legs. Just take your whole torso toward. Yes. Gaze over your front fingertips. And then reach through that back arm, straighten the leg, parallel your feet. Over to the other side, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh goes back, press the back heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Front leg, turn the front thigh from the inside out, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Inhale, exhale, but actually hands on hips, sorry. Hands on hips. So I want to spend a little bit of time here. Take the back thigh back, press into the outer rim of the back heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Now really lengthen, the back groin does lengthen to be clear, but that front groin that we've been working with, lengthen that front groin, draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. The hip actually comes slightly forward in the room. As the back thigh goes back, that hip goes forward so there's space to lengthen that groin. Now maintain that front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in. Front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in. And extend the arms. And gaze over your front fingertips. And then pull with your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. For those of you that have neck shoulder issues going on, if you really get that action of the front ribs back and the back ribs in this pose, that will relieve some of the neck pain, especially, you know, as you hold your arms up, right? So everyone just hold your arms up. And notice where you're holding your arms from. Are you holding it? Most of us pull up from this neck shoulder area and the trapezius muscles, and we hold the arms up. But you want to hold them up from underneath. Hold them from your armpits. And take your arms down just to rest for a moment. So actually, don't make any changes. Just take your arms up and just notice the experience. Maybe it's going to be the same for you. Maybe it'll be different. We're going to see. And then take the arms down. Now take your front bottom ribs back. strongly. Take your back bottom ribs in and up strongly. And now take your arms up. And you can decide if that's different or not. For me, they are completely different experiences, especially in the neck area. And then take your arms down, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. We'll start with hands on hips. Left foot and right leg up. Back thigh back, press the heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Now I should add here, there is, the torso tends to turn towards that front leg. Turn the torso so that it's parallel to the front and back walls. Not just the shoulders, the torso. And certainly not just the head, the torso. But keep the front thigh turning out. Now keep pressing into the back heel as you bend the front leg. And you can try it here too. So right now I haven't done any adjustments with the torso, and I can feel the top of the buttocks is lifting, and my abdomen and chest is pushed out. That's me. So, you know, if I lift my arms, I feel a lot of tension here in the neck. So you can try it if you want. Now I'm going to take my hands on my hips. I'm going to do those adjustments. Front ribs back. And as I do that, the top of the buttocks goes down. I don't even need that instruction. Front ribs back, back ribs in and up. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Now my arms float up. I can keep them here all day long. Again, I'm not saying you're me. I'm just giving you potential things that you can look at. Bend that front leg. Front leg. See if you can bend that. Just keep the toes pointed out. Just sit into it a little bit more. That's it. Good. Reach with your back arm, straighten your leg, come up, parallel your feet, take your hands on your hips, take a breath. Right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take the thigh back thigh back, press the back heel. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. But now turn that torso towards the front of the room. The thing is, as you do that, that front thigh wants to turn in. We looked at my knee, it's pointed in now just because I turned my thigh. So I have to find that place where I can turn the front thigh out and keep my abdomen parallel, or my torso rather, excuse me, parallel to the front and back walls. And yes, I feel my hip opening. Inhale on your exhalation, bend the leg. Now reestablish the leg. So the back thigh back, press the heel, lift the outer knee to the outer hip. Lengthen that front groin, draw the outer knee to the outer hip. And you can try it both ways again, see the difference. But ultimately, you want to take the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs in and up to free up the neck. And then extend the arms. You're welcome to gaze over your front fingertips. Reach with your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. Take your feet hip distance apart. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did last time. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. Uttanasana, forward bend. Rest the skull. Rest the skull. Let the arms go. Sweep the arms back or take your hands on your hips. Extend the chest forward. Inhale, come up. Feet together. Tadasana. Take your arms up to the sides. Front ribs back, back ribs in. Same here. Releases the shoulders. Turn the arms up. Press into the feet from your armpits. Push your arms up, shoulders down. It's just a check-in. Does this feel different? Often we start classes with these poses. We don't do them towards the end that often. I mean, we can do them anytime, but I think it's good to check in. Does this feel any different to you now? Or is it the same? Triceps towards your nose. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Push the webbing of your fingers together. Inhale, come up. Front ribs back, back ribs in and up. So those back ribs are pushing the chest up. Shoulders down as the wrists go up from the side ribs. Extend upward. Does this feel the same or different? Lift the arms out to the sides. Interlace the opposite way. Left first finger on top. Turn the palms out. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Watch those ribs. Ribs in. Ribs in. Remember, ribs in the whole way up. The whole way up. Don't wait till the end. The whole way up. Front ribs back and back ribs in. So I know I focus on the front ribs more because it hardens the diaphragm, but those back ribs are just as essential. In and up. Of course, we can't learn everything at once. So we start with one thing, then we begin to add. Observe your pose. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Take your chair back. Take the back of the chair facing the front of the room. Sit in the chair so the right side of your body faces the side of the chair. So turn the chair around, George. There you go. And then face this way. Square your hips, knees, heels underneath. Arms forward, arms up. Inhale. On your exhalation, take your arms out to the sides. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the sides of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. So really drop those shoulders. And lifting up the elbows helps drop the shoulders. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning towards the back of the chair. Inhale, lifting up. When I say lifting, that means the side ribs and the spine. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, turn, the pace of your breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the torso, side rib, spine. Exhale, turn. And then as soon as you've gone, however deep you want to go into it, be there and observe your pose. You know, some days we might go every exhalation, go a little deeper, but some days you just want to see where you are. If you're always going, there's not time to observe. So can you take some time here and actually observe, be in the twist and observe. Drop that right shoulder. Ah, there. You even turned more when you did that. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Turn. Arms forward, arms up. Keep that length that you're getting from this. Inhale, exhale, arms out to the side. Arms out to the side now. That's it. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Hopefully you squared your hips, knees, and heels. Elbows up, shoulders down. The pace of your breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning towards that back of the chair. Don't hold on to the chair with tight fists. It's flat hands. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Then as soon as you've gone as far as you want to go today, take a moment and actually observe. What's this experience you're in? Inhale, lifting. Exhale, coming to center. Turn around. Square your hips, knees, heels. Arms forward, arms up. Lengthen. On your exhalation, arms out to the sides. Widen. Inhale. Exhale. Take hold of the sides of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. Now listen. We're going to work the torso. Well, let's work the legs and the torso. So lengthen the inner groins and descend the flesh of the inner thighs. Now take the front bottom ribs back and the back bottom ribs in and up. Yes, it works in the twists too. Elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. And keep the soft groins and keep the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs in to lift the chest, in and up. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. So yes, there's a little bit more to think about. But can you keep the front bottom ribs back to soften the diaphragm? Yes, it's twisting. Can you keep the back bottom ribs moving in and up to lift the chest so the chest stays lifted here? Elbows up, shoulders down. Right shoulder again, George. That's the one. And then when you've gone as far as you would like to go today, observe. Of course, sometimes you're observing and then you go, oh, if I exhale, I just turn a little bit more. That's fine if you go a little deeper. I'm not saying you can't go deeper. Sometimes we're here for a moment and then the body changes and it asks for more. If the body's asking for something, give it to it. Exhale, come to center. Maintain the lift as you turn back to center. Turn around. Square your hips, knees, heels. Arms forward, arms up, lengthen. On your exhalation, arms out to the sides, widen. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the backs of the chair. So again, lengthen the groins, lower abdomen to inner knee to lower abdomen. Let the flesh of the inner thighs descend. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up to lift the chest. Don't lean back. You're just doing this with the ribs. Elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Keep the ribs front and back in. Keep the groins released. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Go as far as you want to go. And then you pause and observe. And yeah, maybe you go a little deeper at some point. That's fine. Maybe you have to take a few breaths. And then on the third or fourth breath, all of a sudden the body says, turn me. You can do that. But then be there and observe as well. Follow the guidance of your body. Maintain the lift. Exhale, come to center. Stand up, take your chair to the edge of the mat or end of the mat. Hands on the chair, walk your feet back. Let's even things out. Downward facing dog. Forearm rotating in. Press the ball of the first finger and thumb. Upper arm rotating up. Thighs back. Lengthen the groins. Outer knees to outer hips. And even here, front bottom ribs back. Back bottom ribs in to move the chest forward. Look up, walk your feet forward. Hands on hips, chest forward. Inhale, come up. Tadasana. And put the chair to the side, lie back on the mat. Lie back. Bend your legs into your chest and give yourself a little hug here. Allow the abdomen to soften. Allow the groins to soften. And this is a wonderful opportunity to say something kind to yourself. Say something loving to yourself. Offer gratitude for yourself for this body that did all this work today. Maybe it was perfectly to your liking. Maybe you wanted something different. Either way, offer gratitude that your body took you through this practice and that presence that we can experience in the body. Take your hands now to the face of your knees. On your inhalation, you can let the arms begin to get straighter as the thighs move away from the torso. On the exhalation, the elbows bend and draw the thighs back into the torso. Inhaling, knees move away. Exhaling, knees, thighs move towards you. Take a few breaths like this, your pace. Inhaling, the legs move away. Exhaling, move towards you. Just releasing the lower back, massaging the abdomen. On your next inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let the legs fall out to the sides. Take your arms out to the sides comfortably and let go. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Let your legs become heavy. Surrender to gravity. Let your arms become heavier. Surrender to gravity. Let your torso become heavier. Surrender to gravity. Let your skull become heavy. Surrender to gravity. Throat soft. Face soft. All of your facial features releasing, letting go. You begin to feel as if the skin of your face is dissolving away, melting away. Draw your ears inward. Release your inner ears. Relax your inner ears and begin to listen to the breath from the inside of your body. You don't need to breathe. The breath will breathe you. Become a witness for the breath. Shavasana. Begin to deepen the inhalation, lengthen the exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Place your hands on your abdomen or onto your chest. When you feel ready, pick a side, left or right, extend your arm past your ear, roll to that side, rest your ear into your upper arm. Be here for a moment, observing your practice. When you feel ready, take your top hand, place it on the floor in front of your heart. Turn your torso towards the floor, tuck your chin into your chest, push to come up. Come up chest first, head last. Come up sitting, bring your palms together. Take a moment to observe your practice, allowing yourself to drop your awareness into the body, into this present moment, into the here and now, and observing this moment. There is work to be done in the world. From this place of presence, from this place of yoga, let's go about and do our work with kindness, with compassion, kindness and compassion for others. Most importantly, kindness and compassion for ourselves. Let's close our practice together with one collective Om, deep inhalation. Gently let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Thank you, everybody.